Meanwhile, the National Working Committee of the New Nigeria People's Party (NNPP) has rejected the judgment of the appeal court, which upheld the verdict of the Kano State Election Petition Tribunal that Governor Abba Kabir Yusuf of Kano State was not a registered member of the party when the governorship election was held.
We pray that the judiciary will live up to its calling as the temples of justice and the last hope of the common man. So far, members of NNPP nationwide and the people of Kano State are yet to get justice from the judiciary.
In the last election, general election, INEC used what we call portal to submit the names of your candidates. And the portal is so configured that by the time you are submitting the name of your candidate, you must submit his forms that he obtained as an aspirant. Yes. You must submit his expression of interest form. Apart from that, you must submit his membership card with his membership number, together with all the other particulars. If any of this document is missing, the portal will not accept the candidate that you have submitted or you have submitted the documents.
And joining us live on Political Update is Mr. Dikbo Olayoku, National Secretary of the New Nigeria's People's Party, NNPP. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thank you very much, sir. Nigerians.
All right, your party is kicking against the appeal court judgment, but some people and some lawyers have said you may have perhaps been a little bit lethargic in the handling of your case, especially during the tribunal. Is that true?
No, that is very far from the truth, because there is no document required or even requested for that the party did not provide during the time of the trial at the tribunal. That's why it came to us as a surprise when the tribunal hinged its decision on the issue of membership and then the invalid ballot papers. And interestingly, when the matter got to the appeal court was silent on the issue of invalid ballot papers, but hinged its decision on the membership issue. Apart from the legal issue of membership, whether somebody from outside can come and inquire into the membership of a person in that party, that has been settled in different courts, Supreme Court of Appeal, Supreme Court. But let us look at the issue of membership critically. As the National Secretary of NNPP, I am the custodian of all the documents that has to do with membership and every other thing pertaining to the party. You know, in February last year, INEC released what they call the guideline for the 2023 election. They released it exactly a year before the election, in line with the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999 as amended. And there are some programs that were put into this guideline culminating in the election of February 25, 2023. And part of the programs or pro-events outlined or put into this program has to do with the emergence of a candidate of a political party. And the process began with what they call the primaries. And like in our own case, we did our primaries sometimes in June, but the process commenced in May when we did the screening of our aspirants, because then we had more than one aspirant from many of the states. And the current governor of Kano State, Engineer Abba Kabir Yusuf, was an aspirant that came for our screening in May, because you have to go through screening to make sure that you are qualified to go into the primaries. And one of probably the requirements for the screening is that you must come, apart from the nomination form, apart from the expression of interest form, you must come with your membership card that bears the signature of your ward chairman, because you must have registered at the ward level. The same thing happened in the case of Abba Gida, as they call him in Kano. He presented himself before the screening committee and brought all these documents, which make the screening committee to ask, okay, you can go for the primaries. And we did our primaries on the 6th of June. INEC, as a matter of necessity, because Section 82 of the Electoral Act is very clear. If INEC does not cover your primaries, it's like you're doing a normal party. So they were there, they covered, they monitored everything, where they did the primaries, and Abba Gida emerged as the candidate of NNPP in that June. Furthermore, after that, according to INEC, hitherto before last election, what we were doing was to go to INEC with all the documents, they call hard copy, to go and submit nomination of our candidates. But in the last election, INEC came up with an idea because they want to, this ICT of stuff, that instead of bringing those materials to our office, they created the portal where you would log in every document about your candidate. And the portal, like I said, is configured in such a way that when you are submitting the nomination of your candidate of your party, especially for Kano State, apart from submitting particulars about the nomination forms, about the expression of interest form, one critical aspect of it is the membership card, which you must also submit along with all those documents. And like I said, if any of these core documents is missing, the portal will not accept the candidature of that person. This was done before INEC now came up with their preliminary list of candidates that have succeeded in emerging as candidates. After that, if there are no objections, INEC now came up with what they call the final list of candidates. The current governor of Kano State went through all these processes and procedure. And somebody is now coming to tell us that this man is a member of a party.
Let me jump in, there. While noting the precedents that you have cited in the Supreme Court verdict, which posited that the membership and leadership of a political party was an internal affair, I understand that. But tell us, truly, apart from the fact that, you have mentioned membership card, there's also a duration between when you join and when you can aspire to some of these positions. Was the governor on your books before the elections, or did you give him a waiver?
Yes, that is just it. At least I think many of the political parties have it, but in our own party constitution, which has been registered with INEC, and they have as one of the documents, because some of these things you must submit to INEC, the manifesto, the constitution must be submitted with INEC. There's a provision for waiver. What the waiver says is that normally it's expected that you must have spent a year in a party before you can aspire to any political office. But there's a provision in our constitution that says the National Working Committee can grant a waiver if somebody applies. And I'm very happy to inform you that Abba Gida applied for the waiver, and NWC sat over it, along with other people that applied. He was granted that waiver with a letter, because he applied in writing, and the waiver was granted to him with a letter, saying that in view of the sections and after looking at your application, the NWC has approved. That is the tone of the letter. A waiver be granted to you. With that, the issue of 1 year membership has been erased. So he has the letter because he applied, and then we gave him the letter, which was signed by the national chairman and national secretary. And the letters are with him today. So the issue of waiver is covered because the provision for it in the constitution, which NNPP obliged him after he has applied.
All right, you have another chance in the next few weeks. We see that perhaps this will be succinctly put, and wish the best. But of course, you still stay on. We'll take a few stories. We'll come back to you for issues on your party as well. Moving on now. And the chairman who won the Taraba State chairmanship elections, the 16 winners have been sworn in on Monday. That is yesterday, the 20th of November. Let's move on very quickly. We still have with us the National Secretary of the New Nigeria People's Party. While you are trying to do some firefighting for issues perhaps not directly under your control in the party, you have to fight some fires internally as well, with some state chairmen suspended and new ones, acting ones, already announced. That process has been on now, and of course you have done that. What is the state of play right now in the party?
Yeah, the party is moving on because, like the former national chairman of the former NPN said, late Chief Augustus Adisa Akinloye, that a good politician commences preparation for another election immediately after one election. After the 2023 election, we did an introspect, and then we discovered that some of our members were engaged in anti-party activities which caused the party the elections. So then we did some introspect. Committees were set up to discipline them. Then they were disciplined according to the constitution of the party. Like you rightly observed, acting chairmen have been appointed for the states because we are trying to position the party for 2027. That was why immediately after the election of 2023, despite the fact that we have good ground to go to the tribunal, because our logo rather, was badly represented in the ballot papers across the country. And but we look at the state of the country then, so that we don't add to the temperature of the country. We said, no, we're not going to the tribunal because a winner has been merged. And then we started to reposition the party, and that's exactly what we are doing. We are a lawful, peaceful society, association or party. We believe so much in peace, and that is why anything that will truncate the peace of the state, we don't engage in it. Even now that we are having issues at the Court of Appeal, the Court of Appeal gave its ruling on Friday, 17th of November, as at 10 o'clock today. Before I left the office, we were still struggling to get the certified true copy of the judgment, who will enable our legal team to prepare their papers for Supreme Court. And we suffered a similar thing immediately after the Court of Tribunal judgment, when we were preparing to appeal, and all of a sudden from nowhere came a report that INEC, who was also a part of the case, had withdrawn from the appeal. That was meant to create confusion and controversy. Eventually, it was discovered that it was one official of INEC in Kano State who said some people mounted pressure on him to withdraw a case without the knowledge of the INEC headquarters. We thank God INEC quickly intervened and the matter was put to rest, but it created a lot of confusion. That's exactly what is happening now. 5 days after the judgment was read on November 17th, we are yet to lay our hands on the CTC, which will have helped our legal team to prepare their defense, their presentation at the Supreme Court. So we are also using this opportunity to call on the judiciary not to mete out justice, but at least justice must be seen to have been done. So we are calling on them, let them release this thing to us in time, so that our legal team can prepare our papers to go to Supreme Court, which is very, very necessary. We have so much confidence in the judiciary. That is why anytime we suffered any problem, we will quickly run to the judiciary. Even during the last election, when a sitting member of the House of Representatives allegedly left some people to our secretariat, burned down the place and burned down about 13 people, we didn't resort to violence. We only called on our people to remain calm, because we believe that we don't have another country apart from this country. We don't engage in anything that will create chaos or confusion. That's why we are appealing to the judiciary.
Mr. Dipola Yoku, I think you have made your point, because time is not on our friend. We made sure that we got you in, to give you a level playing field as well as, we always do. Thank you for, coming on the show. We will keep this space open and see that, see what happens at the end of this tunnel, a labyrinth in our political scene, and I will see how you navigate through. That has been Political Update for today. We'll be back on Friday for a fresh pack.